All right, guys. So today I want to be tackling one of the myths that I hear all the time, and this is a myth that I used to believe growing up as well. And we're going to be talking about the myth that one-on-one tutoring is better than group tutoring for SAT prep. Okay, so of course you don't want to rely on just one or the other. I am a firm believer that you need to be in a hybrid situation, right, where you can combine the best of both worlds of group and one-on-one. However, right, the people thinking that one-on-one tutoring is not as good as, or the you people who think that one-on-one tutoring is the only way to go, or that it's better than group tutoring, they don't know what the heck they're talking about. Let's talk a little bit about that. Let's debunk this common myth, and let's explore why group tutoring can just be as effective, if not more effective, than simply just one-on-one tutoring. Okay, the first reason why the SAT, studying for SAT is better in a group rather than just by yourself. The number one thing, guys, is the fun factor. It is fun to interact with other people in an engaging, interactive, and collaborative environment. Okay, the problem with just being with a one-on-one tutor sometimes is that of course you need to have a good relationship with them, right? But it's hard to like bounce ideas off of someone who is in a one-on-one capacity, right? Especially when that person is not your peer. You know what I'm saying? Because that tutor student dynamic, that's not your peer. So it's just not as fun as being with people who are just like yourself, with the same same issues as you, the same goals as you, and the same passions as you. It's just different, right? Because you're actually going to receive, like, if you're a student, you're going to receive a lot out of working with somebody else that is a peer rather than someone who is quote unquote your instructor, right? It's going to hit a little bit different because you're hearing these perspectives as from different students, or rather than just the actual person doing the instructing. Okay, so the first reason why after that is that group tutoring brings diverse perspective. So group tutoring brings together students with different strengths and different weaknesses, right? So this diversity, it fosters a collaborative learning environment where students can actually learn from each other's mistakes and their successes as well, right? And also, guys, if you can see someone else just like yourself, if you see them succeeding in SAT math, right, and they have the same issues as you did and they have the same problems as you, what does that mean for you? If you see them succeed, that means that, hey, you can succeed as well. Okay, so that's where the diverse perspectives comes in. Now, the second reason why group tutoring is very successful is because of the motivation and the support that you receive from other students, and that's kind of what I was talking about a little bit earlier. Studying in a group creates a sense of community. Okay, so peer support can really boost your motivation and your engagement, making the learning process, again, more enjoyable and less isolating. Okay, so group sessions involve interactive discussions in a dynamic environment. Okay, so this ensures that students quickly understand and they correct their mistakes. Okay, so that enhances their learning curve. Okay, because guys, like I said, it's like why Olympic athletes, hey, the Olympics is going on right now. That's why Olympic athletes, they train together. Even the individual athletes, they train in a team because they all have the same mission, and that is to increase their probability of success at the Olympics. Same thing here. And Taylor, I just saw you jump into the chat. Hope everything's good for you. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, I hope that you've been seeing that as well. Now, the next reason why we say that group tutoring is in some cases better than one-on-one tutoring is because of the real world competition. So group settings simulate sort of real world competition, right? Because this can encourage students to push their limits and strive for the excellence that they're looking for. Okay, a little bit of healthy competition can really drive better performance and commitment to study goals. Okay, so that's why it's important that you want to be in a group setting, right? I don't know if some of you guys saw my interview with Fernando, right? But Fernando, he was telling me that, like, hey, the reason why he worked so hard is because he was getting pissed off that he wasn't the first one to raise his hands, or he was upset that other people knew the answer and he didn't. So what did he do? He used that energy, he channeled that energy into his own studying so that he was able to actually increase his score even further than if he was just by himself. Okay, so that's why it's super important to that's why it's super important to be in a group as well. Okay. Now, the next thing we want to talk about, right, is effective time management, right? In group tutoring, students learn to manage their time effectively, right? Balancing between individual study and group activities, right? So this can be applicable to literally anything you do, rather whether it be sports, whether it be music. It doesn't matter, right? Because here's the reason why. In When you're learning how to do these things in a group like environment, you know that, hey, it's not just the group that I need to go to attend in order to get better. I also need to start doing work on my own. And that kind of brings me back to Fernando, right? When you see everyone else in this winning environment, you see them increasing their SAT scores, you see them practicing on their own, and that's the reason why they're getting results. Of course, that's going to rub off on your team. That's going to rub off on your team. Be like, hey, you know what? I should be doing the same exact thing. Because the whole point of the winning environment is to build that winning mindset. That winning mindset that makes sure that you're eating correctly, you're sleeping correctly, you're practicing confidently, and you're asking questions confidently. Basically, you're being comfortable being uncomfortable, and that's why it's so important that you got to be in this group-like environment. Now, the next and final reason why it is so important to be in a group setting is the protege effect. Okay, helping peers in a group setting reinforces your team's own understanding and mastery of the material, and this exchange of energy actually enhances learning and retention for both students. So let's say, for example, one student understands and the second student doesn't. The first student can explain it to the second student, and now the person who didn't understand at first, because it's coming from someone else other than the instructor, it's going to hit differently, it's going to land differently. But for the person explaining the information, because they're actually able to teach it and reiterate it to another person, that means that they can themselves can really understand the material, and it actually reinforces like how they are in their own head with the concepts. Okay, so that's the last reason why it's so important to be in that in the group environment, so that you can take advantage of the protege effect. Okay, now guys, that's everything in terms of why it's so important to be in a group setting. Here's how the Math Guru method excels in group tutoring specifically. Okay, the first thing that we do here, guys, is we discover and enhance. We start with the complete diagnostic to identify every student's strengths and weaknesses, ensuring efficient learning tailored to their needs, so that when they go into these group sessions, right, they know exactly what the weaknesses are and what to look out for. The second thing we do here is that we apply and we practice. Using real SAT problems, we provide laser-targeted practice and feedback, making learning engaging and effective in these group sessions so that we can enhance the protege effect like we just mentioned. The last thing we do here is we simulate success. Regular test simulations both academically and mentally prepare your team for the exam. So when we're doing these group sessions, this is where we're doing a lot of timed problems. This is where we're doing a lot of, areas where we can make our students comfortable feeling uncomfortable. Okay, now why would you stick with the myth that one-on-one tutoring is the only effective way? The Math Guru method leverages the power of group dynamics to offer targeted, efficient learning. So if you guys are ready to increase your teen's SAT math score, comment down below this video or send me a DM, or simply you can go take a look and book in on that calendar page, which I just put down in the comment section below. If you're looking for additional SAT math support, go ahead and book in that call with us, guys. We'd be more than happy to help you out. If nothing else, guys, I want to say, hey, have a great rest of your day. And if you guys have any questions, right, feel free to let me know. I'll stay around for a little bit longer, okay? Let's see, any questions? I know some of you guys are still watching, so that's why I wanted to see if you guys had any questions. All right, guys. Well, if there's nothing else and you guys didn't have any questions, you can always DM me with some information. I have a lot of resources that we can potentially point you in the right direction for. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you guys next time.